Hey there, good morning. It is December 14th, 2024. It is about 23 degrees out here in lovely southern New Hampshire. So we're out in the garage today about to start on the XLTW project. This is a 2003 Yamaha TW200. Right now it is factory settings as far as suspension goes. It has the factory springs in the front forks, as well as the factory shock set on that. I am a heavy load for said bike, probably in gear, running close to 275 pounds or so. So I can get this thing to bottom out, especially the rear shock, fairly easily on some rough trails. You know, obviously it's not a fast bike, so one rides it kind of slow. But I am going to try to supersize this bike, show you what we got going on here. We got, Santa came a little early with the old Christmas presents here. So what we have, we've done some shopping with Bradley Performance Parts. First thing I ordered, not suspension wise, but to replace the tin can skid plate on the TW. I've got this Bradley Performance heavy duty skid plate. You can see just how thick that bad boy is. So that's going to give me a little more protection. It's actually the first thing I'm going to install, simply because I'm going to have to lift the bike up off both tires, and I want to have something solid underneath the lift. Then next thing I've got are these add-ons. They're extenders to the fork tube. So where the normal top of the fork would be, you take that cap off, you screw these on, these machined extenders, and they're going to add another 2 inches or so to the fork tube, which means you can then slide higher up in the triple tree, thus extending the forks. With that, I've got these 0.70 springs that Bradley sells. This is the heaviest spring they sell for the front forks. Of course, some fork oil to go in there to replace that, because God knows how old that is. And then, of course, we have the long travel Bradley Performance shock, rear shock, I'm going to swap out. This is an extended shock that's supposed to match the additional height that I'm adding to the front by switching that over to the rear. So we'll be installing all that today. And just to give you a perspective here, let's see, let's compare it to the old 2013 990, just to give you an idea of how she sits, sitting next to each other. So hopefully when we get it all strung up there and get her suspended, we'll see a significant difference. Well, so here we are with the Bradley Performance fork extenders, new oil in there, new 0.70 springs over the factory. I also added a little shim inside there, use some spacers to lift the fender about an inch or so, give it a little bit more clearance under here. Zoom in, you can see the fork extender. Here's the top of the old fork where the crown would be right above that, so you get all of this. As you can see, I do not have it completely maxed out for the amount of possible length, and that's due to the cabling. When I had it all the way down to the crown being flushed, my Speedo cable was having a really hard time making it all the way to seat in the hub. As it is now, it is super, super tight. I did have to clip a little zip tie up underneath the cowling of the headlight that secures the front brake line. And to give that a little bit more wiggle room, I went in and cut that zip tie that's up under there. I pulled the cowling off and snipped that, and that gave me a little bit more freedom there. But everything's back together in the front. The forks feel great, just bouncing them on the ground as a test. So now it's time to move on to lifting the rear end. And here she is, all jacked up front and back, sitting next to the venerable KTM 990. You can see not quite the dramatic difference it used to be for a little tiny 200cc compared to the big 990. So I've got everything all buttoned up. It's looking pretty good, I think. Now all that's left to do is to take her out back, give it a little tour, test out that suspension. Yeah, look at that clearance we have underneath there now. This should make a dramatic difference.